think it's time. I think it's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to move in a different direction.
Oof.
I don't say that lightly because I love Mike Tomlin. I love what he stands for. I love the mentality that he brings. But Mike Tomlin, who's a magician, or orator, word magician, one of his things he always says, the standard is the standard. Well, what is the standard in Pittsburgh right now? The standard right now is, we're talking about a guy, Mike Tomlin, who's the only Super Bowl winning coach to lose 6 straight playoff games.
Yes.
6 straight one-and-dones. Is that the standard of the Pittsburgh Steelers? The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the few blue chip franchises that we have in our league. They are about championships, not backdooring, getting into the playoffs and then, losing and you're back home again. That's not Pittsburgh. Okay? So I don't want to hear about quarterback. I don't want to hear about offensive systems. Okay? There's a bigger problem in the Steelers organization right now. There's a bigger problem. And again, I can have affinity towards Mike Tomlin, but also at the same breath understand that sometimes things run its course. We've seen it with Andy Reid in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Andy Reid was tremendous. Took multiple quarterbacks to Super Bowl, had all types of success with the Philadelphia Eagles. But it ran its course. And he moved on to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the rest is history. Going to be considered one of the best coaches ever to coach in the National Football League. Right now, in my opinion, it's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to move on.
Oh, Damien. I'm going to have to start by saying I have the utmost respect for you. I have the utmost respect for you as a black journalist who's played in the NFL. But I know in that production meeting that morning when you got that assignment, man, that was tough. I understand. What you know that you must do when you have that assignment to call for the firing of a first ballot Hall of Fame coach, the winningest head coach in Pittsburgh Steelers history, the second most active winning head coach in the National Football League, the leader in wins in the National Football League in one-score games. When you have that assignment to call for that man's firing, you better do a better job than what you did. The biggest problem in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization is what? Your emotions? That's the biggest problem? Your feelings? Your feelings is the biggest problem in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Because you didn't answer that. You didn't give us what the biggest problem. Mike Tomlin? Mike Tomlin is the biggest problem because he's lost 6 playoff games straight with teams that shouldn't even have been in the playoffs. Are you serious? Come on, Damien.
Damon, I understand how everybody wants to bring Andy Reid into this conversation. But do you really want to compare Andy Reid's first 20 years of coaching in the National Football League versus Mike Tomlin's resume? Do you? Andy Reid went 4-12. That's why he was let go. 4-12. Not going to let you stand up here and be the token black talking crazy. It's not going to happen. Now, if Mike Tomlin goes 4-12, hey man, I'm going to be I'm going to lead the Fire Tomlin parade. But I got a feeling Michael Pettyway Tomlin does not have a 4-12 chromosome in his body. Why do I feel this way? Because the man had 4-12 teams. And what did he do? He went to the playoffs. He had 4-12 rosters. What did he do? He goes to the playoffs. Mason Rudolph. Bang! 99.9% of all coaches would have fired Mason. Michael Tomlin goes to the playoffs with him. No TJ Watt. And you want him to win playoff games with teams. All you doing is giving Fredos and the Fire Tomlins kindling. So they can act like they not racist when when they want to fire the guy that they saying in the same breath is a DEI hire. Now, as a black man in your profession, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I understand it's just work. You got to do your job. I'm just going to give you this work. Mike Tomlin goes 4-12. Hey, it's time to move on. But you can't have owners week 4 calling to see if Mike Tomlin might be interested in coaching the Dolphins, and in the same season, you talking about firing him. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Leading the North. I guarantee you we're not having a losing season. You know why? Aaron Rodgers didn't come to Pittsburgh to have a losing season. Bad Grandpa did not come here to not leave everything on the field. And yes, Sunday night, he looked like he retired. He looked like he was done. That ain't Mike Tomlin's fault. It's not. Went to the playoffs with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, who, by the way, he did not lead in yards per game as quarterback after being retired. That is Bane. Mason Rudolph there with 238 yards per game. This man is taking a quarterback who's averaging 238 yards per game to the playoffs. So my question is, for why? Why should this man be fired? Because when you start asking for people's jobs, stepping in the toes that you don't really want to step in. So a lot of people get fed. And I think the fact that you played, Teddy, you sitting across from that man, you both played football. You know how hard it is to get to the National Football League. Come on, man. Y'all got to do better than that. No, the bar is much higher for people who played football. It's much higher. Damien, you got 2 Super Bowl rings. My people's played with you and Teddy. And let me be very clear. Have your feelings. Have your emotions, man. Have your argument. But back your argument up with data. Going 0 for 6 in a 19-year career? When you got a guy who went 20 years with no Super Bowl wins and then went 4-12 after going 8-8? You asking for somebody to be fired? That's like saying if you have 6 bad episodes, they should let your big self go. Man, he done had 6 bad back-to-back ones. Time to get him up out of here. That's how ridiculous it sounds. You know football. You're not these Fredos out here who don't know nothing about football. You know how hard football is. You know how hard these coaches work. Mike Tomlin ain't going 4-12 or 4-13. Because if you go 5-12, you don't get fired if you win a Super Bowl. You do know this, man. You go 4-13, I don't care if you're Bill Belichick. You out of here. Mike Tomlin ain't going 4-0. He's got real OGs in that room. He got dudes in that room that put in that work. They putting in that work. And that's why he'll never go 4-12 or 4-13. But if he ever does, I'm going to be the number one guy saying, hey, it's time to go. But in the same breath, you can't say you don't care about quarterbacks when Patrick Mahomes is the only reason Andy Reid has a Super Bowl title. That's it. No Patrick Mahomes, no Super Bowls. But you don't care about quarterbacks and offenses? Come on, man. This argument is trash. And I ain't going to let you slide. No, sir. You come out here looking silly like you look right now, your pass to the barbecue getting revoked, brother. I expect better from you. And what I expect is more than your emotions. Nobody is taking your apologies. We just ain't dealing with you. Your credibility is shot. You're done. But we love it because you ain't the only one. This is what they love. They love it. Every time Mike Tomlin loses, they get a hard on. Fire him. We should have fired him 19 years ago. Really? And hire who? I love that part about this argument that you are just throwing fire on. And I get it, bro. I get it. Your boss and them just lost like $6 billion. Keep making bad decisions. So now, you got to go out here and make some clickbait. You got to do something to make this cast of people that you got sitting here that nobody wants to look at seem like something people want to watch. So you just out here saying whatever. Fire Mike Tomlin. Time to go. Because Mike Tomlin is the problem. You obviously didn't watch the game Sunday. Mike Tomlin was not out there throwing Stevies. Mike Tomlin was not out there looking zooted. Mike Tomlin was not out there looking scared to sit in the pocket and throw the football. That was not Mike Tomlin. When you talk about NFL coaches with playoff wins who have Super Bowls, I'm going to give you the list. Andy Reid, 28 playoff wins. John Harbaugh, 13 playoff wins. Pete Carroll, 11 playoff wins. Sean Payton, 9 playoff wins. Mike Tomlin, 8 playoff wins. Sean McVay, 8 playoff wins. Nick Sirianni, 6 playoff wins. Then you have Kyle Shanahan, no Super Bowl. Sean McDermott, 7 wins, no Super Bowls. Zach Taylor, 5. Jim Harbaugh, 5. Dan Quinn, 5. Matt LaFleur, 3. Dan Campbell, 2. D'Amico Ryans, 2. Mike Vrabel, 2. Kevin Stefanski, 1. Todd Bowles, 1. Mike McCoy, 1. And guess what? All the rest of them coaches ain't never won a playoff game. 7 active head coaches won Super Bowls. But you want to fire Mike Tomlin? Because in the last 6 playoff games, he has not won?
Subscribe to the page so you can catch my interview with RB1 Jalen Warren.